Rebecca Davis did not know she was watching the last normal moment of her daughter's life. She stood in the doorway of Madison's bedroom, her hands shaking, her heart beating so fast she could hear it in her ears. The small blinking light on the baby monitor camera, an old device Rebecca had kept just in case, was recording everything. The angle showed the whole room. The desk, the bed, the floor, and the teenager standing in front of her with a look that did not belong to a child. "Madison," Rebecca said softly, "we need to talk." Madison didn't blink. Her hands were behind her back. Her face was pale, but her eyes were sharp, cold even. Like she was already 10 steps ahead of her mother. Like she had been preparing for this exact moment. "What did you find?" Madison asked. Rebecca swallowed hard and held up a small cardboard box, the one she had found inside Madison's closet an hour earlier. The box wasn't big, but its contents had made Rebecca's stomach sink. 3 THC vape pens, a roll of cash, and a small notebook filled with names and numbers. "Where did you get these?" Rebecca asked. "You're 15, Madison. You can't have this stuff. You can't be doing this." Madison's jaw clenched. A tiny twitch appeared near her eyebrow, the kind Rebecca had only seen when Madison was nervous. But nervous was not how Madison looked now. She looked trapped and dangerous. "Put the box down," Madison said. Rebecca stepped back. "Madison, honey, this isn't who you are. You're an honors student. You tutor kids from church. You put down." The way Madison said it made Rebecca freeze. And at that same moment, the camera blinked again, its red light bright and unmissable, recording everything. But Madison didn't notice it. She only saw her mother blocking the door. Madison stepped closer, her hand tightening around the object hidden behind her back. Rebecca did not know what it was. She only knew something was terribly wrong. "Sweetie," Rebecca whispered, "you're scaring me." Good. Rebecca could see it now. Madison wanted her to be scared. "I can't let you ruin everything," Madison said. "Not now." She lifted her hand. And that was the moment the camera captured something no parent should ever see. But before we can understand what happened next, we have to go back. Back to when things still looked normal on the surface. Back to when Madison Davis was just another smiling teenager in suburban Atlanta. Back to when her mother still believed her daughter was safe. Madison Davis had always been the good kid. At least, that's what everyone said. She was polite, smart, quiet in class but helpful. She always turned in her homework early. Teachers trusted her. Neighbors adored her. Parents wished their own children were more like her. But being perfect is heavy. And Madison carried that weight alone. Her mother, Rebecca, was a math teacher at a nearby middle school. She wasn't strict, but she was the kind of parent who believed in schedules, clean rooms, and good grades. Madison's father had left when Madison was 8, and since then, Rebecca did everything she could to build a stable life. She went to work early, came home late, and trusted Madison to do the right thing. And Madison always did. Or at least, that's what Rebecca thought. The first sign that something was off came 3 months before the day everything was recorded. It was a Saturday morning when Rebecca found the first vape pen. Not the box full of them, that would come later. This was just one pen, small and dark blue, tucked between Madison's bed frame and the wall. Rebecca had been changing the sheets when her hand brushed against it. At first, she thought it belonged to someone else. Maybe a friend had left it. Maybe it was a toy. She didn't know much about vape pens, but when she Googled it later, she learned what THC was. Her stomach tightened. She wanted to ask Madison right away, but Madison wasn't home. She had said she was at the library studying for a biology test, and Rebecca believed her. Madison had never given her a reason not to. So Rebecca put the pen inside her nightstand drawer and said nothing. She told herself she would address it soon. That maybe it was a one-time mistake. That confronting Madison too early might make her daughter stop trusting her. She didn't want to be that mom. But Madison wasn't at the library that day. She wasn't studying. She wasn't doing anything innocent. She was downtown, sitting in the back of an older boy's car, a boy she had met online. A boy who was 18, though he had told her he was 16. A boy who bought things she wasn't supposed to have. A boy who taught her how easy it was to lie if you smiled while doing it. And the lies didn't stop there. Over the next few weeks, Madison's behavior started changing, but in ways small enough that Rebecca didn't notice at first. Madison spent more time in her room. She stayed up later. She locked her door. She deleted messages fast. She looked tired in the mornings but blamed schoolwork. She snapped at Rebecca more than usual. She kept asking for extra lunch money. None of these things were unusual for a teenager, but mixed together, they painted a picture Rebecca did not see. Not yet. The second sign came when Madison's English teacher, Mrs. Parker, emailed Rebecca saying Madison had missed 2 homework assignments. That alone shocked Rebecca. Madison never missed anything. When she asked Madison about it, the girl smiled sweetly and said, "Oh, I turned them in late. She must have forgotten." And Rebecca believed her, because Madison always knew how to sound convincing. The third sign was the notebook, the little black one, the one filled with names and numbers, the one Rebecca wouldn't discover until it was too late. 2 days before the camera recorded the shocking moment in Madison's room, something happened at school. Something that could have changed everything if Rebecca had known. Madison had been called into the counselor's office. She wasn't in trouble. Not officially. The school counselor, Mr. Hughes, had received a message from a concerned student. An anonymous student who said Madison had been seen crying in the girls' bathroom. Crying hard. Crying in a way that scared them. So Mr. Hughes asked Madison to step inside and talk. But the girl who walked in was not the girl the student described. Madison smiled. She said she was fine. She said she was stressed about a test. She said she appreciated the concern. She said all the right things, but the counselor noticed something strange. Her sleeves. They were pulled down to her hands in a way that looked uncomfortable. And when she accidentally rolled one sleeve up while pushing her hair behind her ear, Hughes saw faint marks on her arm. Long, thin lines. "Madison," he said softly, "are you hurting yourself?" Madison froze for half a second. Then she smiled again. "No," she said. "It was my cat." But Madison didn't have a cat. Rebecca was allergic. Mr. Hughes thought about calling Rebecca that afternoon. He really did. But Madison was so calm, so collected, so sure of her story that he decided to wait and check on her again the next day. He never got that chance, because the next day was March 24th, the day Rebecca came home early, the day she found the box, the day the camera recorded everything Madison never wanted anyone to see. Rebecca had not meant to search Madison's room. She hated the idea of invading privacy. But when she went to put laundry away, she noticed the closet door open and a stack of sweaters unevenly piled. And something inside Rebecca told her to check. A gut feeling. A mother's instinct. That was when she found the box. And everything inside it. Rebecca's hands shook as she sat on the edge of the bed staring at the items. The notebook. The vape pens. The cash. The names. The numbers. It looked like someone keeping track of deals. Or deliveries. Or debts. Rebecca's heart hurt. She felt dizzy. She didn't want this to be real. She placed the box on Madison's desk. Then she turned and saw the baby monitor camera. She had plugged it in a few months earlier after hearing about break-ins in their neighborhood. She had aimed it at the window, but at some point it must have shifted. Now it faced the room. It recorded everything, and it was recording right now. Rebecca took a deep breath and whispered, "Please let this be fixable." She didn't know that Madison was already on her way home, already planning her reaction, already thinking of ways to stop this from spreading. And now we are back where we began. Rebecca standing in the doorway. Madison hiding something behind her back. The box between them. The camera capturing every second. "I can't let you ruin everything," Madison said again. Rebecca stepped back, voice trembling. Madison, please. You don't have to do this. But Madison took another step forward. And then, she raised her hand. Rebecca finally saw what she had been hiding. And in that split second, just as the truth flashed in front of her eyes, something slammed against the window. Hard. Rebecca jumped. Madison froze. And then the window cracked. A loud, sharp sound. Like someone or something was trying to get inside. And that was the exact moment everything changed. The sound of the window cracking was so loud that Rebecca felt it in her chest. It was sharp, sudden, and violent, like the world outside was trying to punch its way into the room. Madison stopped moving, her eyes darting to the window as a thin, spiderweb crack spread across the glass. For a moment, everything was silent except for the faint hum of the camera still recording in the background. Rebecca didn't know what to do. She didn't know whether to run, yell, or try to grab the thing in Madison's hand. But before she could act, Madison quickly shoved the item behind her back again and stepped away from the window. "What was that?" Rebecca whispered. Madison's voice shook for the first time. "It's nothing. Ignore it." "Ignore it?" Rebecca stared at her daughter in disbelief. Something had just hit the window hard enough to crack it. Nobody ignores that. Then another sound came, this one softer, like footsteps running through the bushes outside. Rebecca's eyes widened. Madison's face tightened. "Madison," she whispered, "is somebody outside?" Madison hesitated. A hesitation is sometimes louder than a scream. "No," she said quickly. "No one's there." But the way her voice cracked told the truth. Rebecca turned toward the window, her heart pounding. The backyard was dark even though it was still evening. The big oak tree cast long shadows across the grass. The fence at the back of the yard was old and slightly bent. It would be easy for someone to climb over. Rebecca stepped toward the window, but Madison moved in front of her fast. "Don't," Madison said sharply. "Just leave it." Rebecca stared at her. "Madison, what is going on?" Madison refused to answer. She kept glancing at the cracked window like she was waiting for something worse to happen. Rebecca stepped back, her mind racing. Her daughter wasn't just hiding vape pens. She wasn't just lying. She wasn't just hurting herself. Something bigger was happening. Something involving someone outside their house. And Rebecca had no idea what she was walking into. That fear, that tightness in her chest, it pushed her away from the window and back toward the door. She needed to think. She needed air. She needed to call someone. But as she turned toward the hallway, Madison grabbed her wrist. Hard. "You can't leave," Madison whispered. Rebecca froze and looked at her daughter. The girl she raised. The girl she trusted. The girl who now held her like a stranger. "Madison," Rebecca said, "you're hurting me." Madison loosened her grip, but didn't let go completely. "Please don't make this harder than it already is." "Harder," Rebecca whispered. "Madison, what did you do?" Madison didn't answer. Instead, she slowly lifted her hand, the one she had been hiding, and revealed what she had been holding the entire time. It wasn't a knife. It wasn't a weapon. It wasn't anything Rebecca expected. It was her phone. A phone with a cracked screen, dozens of alerts, and a video still open. The video was paused, but even from a distance Rebecca could see what it was. It was footage. Footage from the baby monitor camera. Footage of Rebecca opening the box earlier. Madison had been watching it. She had seen the moment her mother found everything. She knew she had been exposed long before she stepped into the room. Rebecca swallowed hard. "You watched me." Madison nodded. "I knew the second you touched the box." Rebecca felt her stomach twist. "Why would you do that?" "Because I have to know what people are doing," Madison said quietly. "I have to stay ahead. I can't let anyone catch me off guard." Rebecca felt a chill run down her spine. This wasn't normal. This wasn't teenage rebellion. This was something deeper, darker, and far more dangerous. Rebecca slowly reached for the phone. "Madison, please give that to me." Madison stepped back. No. If you see everything, then it's over. Rebecca didn't understand. Over? What did that mean? What did you get yourself into? Rebecca whispered. Madison, tell me the truth. Madison looked at the cracked window again. It's not safe anymore. Rebecca's voice trembled. What isn't safe? Madison swallowed. Nobody was supposed to know. Not you. Not anyone. The fear inside Rebecca grew stronger. Know what? Before Madison could answer, a loud buzzing noise filled the room. Madison's phone lit up with a new message. A single text, from a number with no name. Just a string of digits. But the message itself made Rebecca's blood freeze. He's watching. Fix it now. Rebecca covered her mouth. Madison, who is that? Madison didn't answer. She just stared at the phone with wide eyes. When she finally spoke, her voice was barely a whisper. He says you have to forget what you saw. Rebecca shook her head. Who? Madison, this is serious. We need to call the police. No! Madison shouted. You can't call anyone. You can't. You don't understand. If you call the police, he'll come back. He told me what he'd do. Rebecca could tell her daughter was terrified, truly, deeply terrified. Who is he? Madison's lips trembled. You won't believe me. Try me, Rebecca said softly. Madison took a deep breath. His name is Tyler. He's 18. I met him online months ago. He said he could help me make money fast so I wouldn't feel trapped. So I wouldn't feel invisible. Rebecca felt like the floor beneath her was gone. You met a stranger online? Madison, you don't even know this person. You don't know what he's capable of. Madison sniffed. Yes, I do. Rebecca's heart dropped. What did he do? Madison looked at the cracked window again. She didn't have to say anything. Rebecca suddenly understood. He had been outside. The thing that hit the window. It wasn't a rock. It wasn't the wind. It wasn't an accident. It was him. Watching. Listening. Waiting. Rebecca felt a wave of panic wash over her. She grabbed Madison's shoulders. We have to leave. Right now. But Madison's face changed. She shook her head hard. If we leave, he'll think I told you everything. He said he's always watching. He said if I mess up one time, just one, he'll make the whole thing worse. Rebecca felt sick. Madison, what did you agree to? Madison looked down. Her voice was so soft Rebecca almost didn't hear it. I was supposed to move something for him. Move what? Rebecca pressed. Madison hesitated. The longest, sharpest hesitation yet. Drugs, she whispered. Rebecca stepped back as if she had been hit. She felt the room spin. Her daughter, her own daughter, caught up in something criminal, something dangerous, something that could destroy her life. Madison, Rebecca said, her voice breaking, why would you do that? Madison's face twisted into something painful. Because I was tired of being the perfect kid. I was tired of everyone thinking I was fine when I wasn't. I thought if I helped him, he'd help me. He said he'd protect me. Rebecca shook her head. He lied to you. Madison nodded slowly. I know. Rebecca wiped a tear from her face. She realized then that her daughter wasn't evil. She wasn't cold. She was lost, manipulated, pulled into something she couldn't control. Rebecca opened her arms. Baby, come here. Madison stared at her for a long moment. Then she stepped forward. A tear slid down her cheek. Rebecca hugged her tightly, feeling her daughter's shoulders tremble. For a brief moment, it felt like everything might be okay. Like the danger would pass. Like the crack in the window could be fixed, along with everything else. But then, a sound came from outside. This time it wasn't a hit on the window. It wasn't footsteps. It wasn't a whisper in the bushes. It was a voice, a male voice, calling Madison's name. Rebecca froze. Madison's body went stiff in her arms. The voice was close, too close. Madison. Then louder. Open the door. Rebecca pulled Madison back. Is that him? Madison didn't breathe for several seconds before she whispered, "Yes." Rebecca's heart raced. She grabbed Madison's hand. "We're calling the police." "No," Madison cried. "He said he'll come inside if we do." Rebecca didn't care. "I don't care what he said." But she didn't finish. Because suddenly, the front door slammed open so hard it shook the entire house. And the camera in the room kept recording. As everything spiraled into the most terrifying moment yet. The sound of the front door slamming open shook the whole house. It was so loud that even the picture frames in the hallway rattled. Rebecca grabbed Madison's hand so tightly that her knuckles turned white. Madison didn't pull away this time. She didn't try to hide. She didn't try to lie. She just whispered one broken word. "He's here." Rebecca didn't know what to do first. Run, scream, hide, grab something to protect them. But her instinct as a mother took over. She pulled Madison behind her and backed up until they were in the farthest corner of the bedroom. The camera kept recording, catching every second. Heavy footsteps hit the wooden floors downstairs. Slow, steady, angry. The sound moved through the living room. Then the hallway. Then closer. The footsteps didn't rush. They didn't trip. They didn't pause. They walked like the person already knew exactly where Madison was. "Madison," the voice yelled again. "You better come downstairs." Rebecca pressed Madison's hand to her chest, trying to quiet her breathing. She didn't want him to hear how terrified they were. But Madison's breathing was quick and sharp. She couldn't help it. Rebecca gently placed her other hand over Madison's mouth, whispering, "Shuasi, don't let him hear you." Madison nodded with wide eyes. The footsteps reached the bottom of the staircase. Then they stopped. Silence filled the house. The kind of silence that hurts your ears. The kind that means danger is waiting. Rebecca listened closely, her heart pounding so hard she felt it shaking through her ribs. She didn't know if she had ever been this scared in her life. Not even when she was a kid. Not even when she gave birth. Not even when her husband left. This was different. This was a stranger with power over her child. A stranger her child trusted. A stranger who was now inside her home. Rebecca leaned close to Madison's ear. "Is he dangerous?" Madison swallowed hard. "Yes." Rebecca felt her blood run cold. "Has he ever hurt you?" Madison shook her head slowly. "Not yet. But he told me what he did to a girl who tried to walk away." Rebecca froze. "What did he do?" Madison didn't answer with words. She just lifted her sleeve. Rebecca covered her mouth. Thin scars. Small burns. Marks that no child should ever have. Rebecca blinked back tears and hugged Madison tight. "Baby, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." Before Madison could speak, the man's voice came again. This time calmer, but far more threatening. "Madison, if you don't come out, I'll come to you." Rebecca squeezed Madison's arm. "He's not coming up here. I won't let him." But she didn't sound convincing. Even she could hear her voice shaking. The man began walking up the stairs, one slow step at a time. Each step felt heavier than the last, like he was stomping on their safety, on their home, on everything that was supposed to protect them. Rebecca scanned the room for something, anything, they could use to defend themselves. A lamp, a hair straightener, even a heavy book. But there was nothing within reach except Madison's desk chair. And Rebecca knew that wouldn't help much. The footsteps reached the top of the stairs. Rebecca expected him to go straight to Madison's room. But instead, he walked into the bathroom first. The door creaked open, then slammed shut. Rebecca jumped at the sound. He was checking each room one by one. "Madison," Rebecca whispered urgently, "we need to hide. Right now." "But where?" Madison cried softly. Rebecca pulled her toward the closet. It wasn't big, but it had a sliding door and boxes inside. Maybe they could use them as cover. Maybe he wouldn't check it. Rebecca quietly slid the closet door open. It squeaked, a faint but unmistakable sound. Both mother and daughter froze. They waited. No footsteps moved. No voice called out. Nothing happened. Rebecca pulled Madison into the closet and closed the door as gently as she could. It was dark inside. Too dark. They could barely see each other's faces. Rebecca whispered, "Don't make a sound." Madison nodded and pressed her back against the wall. They both listened. The man walked into the guest bedroom next. He opened drawers, kicked something, banged the closet door there. He was searching, slowly, carefully, like he enjoyed it. Rebecca held Madison's face in her hands, trying to calm her. But her own fear made her hands shake. Madison squeezed her eyes shut. The man's footsteps came into the hallway. Then closer. Then closer. He reached Madison's bedroom. He opened the door. The sound made Rebecca's stomach drop. The man stepped inside. They could hear him breathing. Deep, slow, heavy. He walked across the room. His boots clicked against the wooden floor. He stopped near the desk, the place where Rebecca had placed the box. Rebecca and Madison stood completely still, barely breathing. They heard the man pick something up. Then he spoke. Well, so this is what your mom found." Madison cried silently. Rebecca squeezed her hand. The man dropped the box back on the desk with a thud. Then he walked toward the window. Rebecca imagined him looking at the cracked glass, the mark he had left, the message he wanted them to understand. He walked to the bed next. She heard the bed sheets moving as he lifted them. He was checking everything. Everything except the closet. But then, his boots turned. They faced the closet door. Rebecca felt Madison's hand tighten around her arm. Rebecca held her breath. The man walked toward the closet. One step, then another, then another. He stopped right in front of the door. Rebecca could see the shadow of his feet under the door. A big shadow, bigger than she expected. She pressed Madison behind her and covered her with her arms. The doorknob rattled. Rebecca bit her lip to stop from crying out. The man tried to slide the door open. The closet door resisted. It got stuck on one of the boxes Rebecca had moved earlier. The man grunted and yanked the door harder. Still stuck. Rebecca prayed silently. Not for herself. For Madison. The man sighed loudly. "You hiding in here, princess?" Madison trembled. The man pushed the door again. This time harder. The track groaned loudly. The metal popped. The door moved halfway open. Rebecca had seconds, maybe less. The man leaned in. She could hear his breathing on the other side of the door. Slow, amused, confident. Like he already knew they were in there. Like this was a game. Then, a loud sound from downstairs shattered the moment. The front door slammed again. Hard. The man froze. Rebecca froze. Madison froze. Someone else was inside the house. The man stepped away from the closet and rushed to the hallway. Rebecca peeked through the small crack in the closet door. She saw him walk out fast, his shoulders tense, his fists balled. Voices came from downstairs. Male voices. Deep. Angry. Not police. Not friends. More like people who shouldn't be there. Madison whispered, "It's his friends. He said he wasn't working alone." Rebecca's heart felt like it stopped. 3 new voices echoed through the house. "Tyler. Where is she? Get the girl." Rebecca covered Madison's mouth to keep her from screaming. Madison shook violently in her arms. The man, Tyler, yelled back, "Get upstairs. Hurry up." Heavy footsteps started rushing up the stairs. Multiple sets of them. Fast. Aggressive. Rebecca knew they could not stay in the closet. They would be found in seconds. She grabbed Madison's hand, pulled the closet door fully open, and whispered urgently, "We have to run. Now." Madison nodded, her eyes filled with terror. Rebecca cracked open the bedroom window. The cracked window Tyler had hit earlier. She pushed it as hard as she could until the frame made a painful squeal. She didn't care about the noise. They didn't have time to care. Voices thundered up the stairs. Rebecca pushed the window open just wide enough for Madison to slip out. The drop was about 7 feet. Not impossible, but not safe either. Rebecca helped Madison climb out first. Madison's foot slipped on the windowsill and she almost fell, but she grabbed the edge of the frame. Rebecca whispered, "Jump, I'll catch up." Madison closed her eyes and jumped. She hit the grass hard and rolled onto her side, but she was still moving. Rebecca started to climb out next, but then, the bedroom door erupted open behind her. 3 men stormed inside, and Tyler was in front of them. His eyes locked onto Rebecca at the window. Rebecca gasped. He ran straight toward her. Rebecca tried to jump, but Tyler grabbed her ankle before she could push off. Her body jerked backward violently. She screamed. The camera captured it all. Madison, from the ground below, looked up and saw it happen. She screamed, "MOM," and Rebecca's fingers slipped off the window frame. As Tyler yanked her back into the room. "You said, continue." The room went still. Completely still. The kind of stillness that comes right before a storm hits, when even the air feels like it's waiting to see what happens next. Detective Kane stared at the screen, jaw clenched so tightly the muscles in her neck stood out. Officers around her froze mid-step, their faces drained of color. Rebecca felt her knees wobble again, but this time, she didn't let herself fall. She couldn't. Not now. Her daughter was alive. Alive. But terrified. Alive. But tied to a chair. Alive. But in the hands of a man who had been stalking her inside her own home. Rebecca wiped her tears roughly with the back of her hand. She wasn't breaking anymore. She wasn't panicking. She wasn't frozen. She was focused. "Detective," Rebecca whispered, "we have to go. Please. Please, we have to go now." Kane nodded once. Sharp. Determined. "We are. But we have to do this right. If we rush, he moves her. Or worse." Rebecca flinched at that, but she knew Kane wasn't wrong. An officer ran in breathless. "Detective, we traced the IP from the upload. It's bouncing through multiple locations, but the last ping came from an industrial zone near the river." Officer Hayes added, "Old warehouses. Several abandoned. Perfect place to hide." Rebecca grabbed Kane's arm. "He used to work there, Mark. Years ago. He told me he used to do wiring jobs in old buildings, some of them downtown. He said the companies never paid him well, so he liked doing private home jobs instead." Kane's eyes sharpened. "Does he know the layouts?" "Yes," Rebecca whispered, heart pounding. "He said those places were like mazes." Kane didn't hesitate. "Everyone gear up. I want units at every exit around that industrial zone. K9s, SWAT, drones, everything. We're not letting him escape again." Officers erupted into motion. Boots thundered across hardwood floors. Radios crackled. SWAT vests were pulled on. Guns were checked. Flashlights secured. Rebecca followed Kane out to the front yard where the night was filled with flashing red and blue lights. A helicopter thundered overhead, spotlights searching the trees. Kane turned to her. "You cannot come with us." Rebecca stepped forward. "I'm not staying here. That monster has my daughter. And that's exactly why you can't come," Kane said firmly. "If he sees you, if he hears you, anything could happen. We need him focused on us, not you." Rebecca opened her mouth to argue, but the words stuck. She knew Kane was right. She hated that she was right. But she also knew this wasn't about her pride or fear. This was about getting Madison back alive. "Kane," her voice trembled, "just promise me. Promise me you'll bring her back." Kane put a hand on her shoulder. "I will. I swear it." Then she turned and climbed into the unmarked black SUV. The convoy roared to life. Rebecca stood in the yard as the vehicles peeled out of the driveway, lights flashing, sirens off, silent and deadly in the night. The ride to the industrial zone was tense. Detective Kane rode in the front seat, watching the GPS trackers and drone footage streaming on the laptop mounted between the seat. The area was a graveyard of old buildings, dusty, massive, and quiet. Warehouses long forgotten. Factories shut down decades ago. Loading docks rusted and overgrown. It was a perfect place for a predator to hide. Kane radioed the teams. Units Bravo and Delta take the west side. K9 unit take the north. SWAT with me on the east. Officer Hayes tapped the screen. Detective, one building is still drawing power. Look. A small warehouse, barely 2 stories tall. But unlike the others, it had a faint glow leaking from one window. Someone was inside. Someone who didn't want to be found. That's it, Kane said. That's where he is. Back at the Davis home, Rebecca paced in circles near the front window. A young officer named Carter stayed behind to watch her, but he kept a respectful distance. Every second felt like an hour. Every quiet moment made her heart race. She tried calling her sister. No answer. Tried calling her best friend. No answer. Tried calling her husband, Madison's father, but he lived in Texas and rarely picked up. It didn't matter. None of it mattered. Only Madison mattered. The house, quiet now, felt haunted. The walls seemed to breathe with memories of a girl who should have been in bed right now, complaining about homework or scrolling TikTok. Instead, she was tied up somewhere dark. Rebecca felt her chest tighten again. She pressed a hand over her heart, trying to keep herself from spiraling. Officer Carter approached gently. "Ma'am, would you like to sit down?" "No," she whispered. "I won't sit until she's home." He nodded. "They'll find her." Rebecca swallowed hard. "They have to." At the warehouse, Detective Kane raised her fist. Signal for silence. The SWAT team lined up behind her. Guns raised. Shields positioned. Boots ready. Kane pointed at the door. 2 SWAT officers moved forward, kneeling, checking hinges, checking for traps. One officer held up a finger. "Wait." Then he nodded, clear. Kane mouthed, "On 3. Her hand lifted. 1, 2, 3. Boom. The battering ram struck the door, blowing it inward. SWAT poured into the darkness. Flashlights cut through the dusty air. Shadows danced on cracked concrete floors. Kane to all units, move slow. He may be armed. The warehouse was cold. Silent. Too silent. One officer pointed. Footprints. Fresh. Leading toward a staircase that spiraled down. Into the basement. The same kind of basement shown in the video. Kane's heart hammered. Everyone, descend carefully. No one fires unless absolutely necessary. They moved as one, each step heavy, echoing on the metal stairs. A faint light flickered from below. The same swinging bulb Rebecca saw on the video. As they reached the bottom, they saw it. A narrow hallway with 3 rooms. Room 1, empty. Room 2, empty. Room 3, a faint light glowing under the door. Kane signaled SWAT. They stacked on both sides of the door. Silent, professional. She mouthed again, "On 3. Her fingers lifted. 1, 2, 3. Crash. The door flew open. Flashlights burst into the room. Police. Hands up. And then, they froze. The chair was there. The ropes were there. But Madison was gone. The ropes were cut. Not neatly, but hacked through with something sharp. Detective Kane's stomach dropped. He moved her. He moved her again. One SWAT officer pointed to the far corner. "Detective, look." A small camera sat on a crate, recording. A tablet next to it showed a live feed, broadcasting the room they were standing in. Broadcasting the very moment they stormed inside. Mark had been watching them, anticipating them, playing with them, and above the tablet, a note taped to the wall. Detective Kane snatched it. It was written in messy, hurried handwriting. "You're too slow. She's running out of time." Kane crushed the note in her hand. "Search the entire building," she shouted. "He's close. He has to be." SWAT spread like a wave, checking every corner, every crate, every duct. But Mark Turner was nowhere. Then, from outside, screech. The sound of tires. Spinning. Speeding. Kane bolted toward the exit, SWAT on her heels. A van tore across the gravel lot, headlights off, heading for the main road. It was Mark. It had to be. "Stop the vehicle," Hayes shouted. The van didn't stop. It accelerated. Hard. Kane raised her radio. All units. Suspect fleeing in a white utility van heading northbound. Cut him off. Now. Patrol cars swarmed the road as the chase exploded into motion. Sirens lit up the night, finally breaking the eerie silence. But the van was fast. Too fast. It weaved between abandoned trucks and blasted through a chain-link gate, metal scraping loudly. The police followed, but the industrial zone had too many exits, too many dark paths. Within 40 seconds, they lost him. The van disappeared into the night. Back at home, Rebecca's entire body went cold when her phone buzzed. Unknown sender. A message. She clicked it with shaking hands. It wasn't words. It was a picture. Madison, blindfolded, crying. Rebecca dropped the phone and screamed. Officer Carter rushed to her side. "Ma'am, what happened?" Rebecca sobbed so hard she couldn't breathe. He sent me a picture of her." Carter grabbed the phone and radioed immediately. "Dispatch, we need Detective Kane notified ASAP. Suspect has contacted the victim's mother. Repeat, suspect is escalating." Rebecca felt like the world was closing in. Like she couldn't stand. Couldn't breathe. Then the phone buzzed again. Another picture. This one worse. Madison tied up somewhere new. Not the warehouse. Somewhere smaller. Windows boarded. A dirty mattress on the floor behind her. Then another text arrived. Just 6 words. 6 words that made Rebecca scream until her voice broke. "Come alone or she dies tonight." Detective Kane returned to the Davis home within minutes, breathless and furious from the failed chase. She studied the texts, jaw clenched tight. "He's not just playing anymore," Kane said. "He's desperate. And desperate men get dangerous." Rebecca grabbed her arm. "He wants me to come alone." "You're not going," Kane snapped. "That's exactly what he wants. He wants leverage." Rebecca's voice cracked. "He has my daughter. And he's losing control," Kane said sternly. "That means he'll make mistakes. Which means tonight, we end this." Kane paced, deep in thought, then faced Rebecca. "I need you to do something incredibly hard," she said softly. "I need you to text him back." Rebecca felt her chest tighten. "What do I say?" Kane handed her the phone. "Say exactly what he wants to hear. Keep him calm. Keep him talking. We'll trace it." Rebecca typed with trembling thumbs. "I'll come. Just don't hurt her." Seconds passed. Then Mark replied. "You have 1 hour. Come to where she used to play." Rebecca frowned. Where she used to play? Kane thought for a moment. Her old school playground? No. Her childhood friend's house? No. Rebecca whispered. The river park. She used to play there when she was little. Kane's eyes widened. The abandoned boathouse. Rebecca nodded slowly. "Yes. It's secluded," Hayes said. He could hide her inside and see anyone approaching. Kane looked Rebecca dead in the eye. "You are not going alone. But he won't know that." She turned to her team. "Gear up. We move in 10. 35 minutes later, Rebecca stood near the entrance of the abandoned boathouse. Police hid in the tree-line, silent, invisible, waiting for Kane's command. The boathouse was dark. Old. Boards missing. Roof caved in at the corner. Rebecca swallowed hard. Her heart raced so violently she felt dizzy. Her phone buzzed. "Mark, come in alone." Rebecca whispered to Kane through her mic. "He's watching." Kane whispered back, "We see you. Move forward. Slow." Rebecca pushed the creaking door open. The smell of mold hit her instantly. The air was damp and heavy. "Madison," she whispered. "Baby? I'm here." No answer. She stepped further inside. Her flashlight beam shook in her hand as she scanned the corners. A broken dock. Old life jackets. Rusty tools. Rope. Crate. Then, a sound. A soft whimper. Rebecca swung the light to the far corner, and her heart nearly stopped. Madison. Her daughter was tied to a support beam, blindfold still on, face streaked with tears. Rebecca fell to her knees, sobbing, untying the ropes as fast as her shaking fingers allowed. "It's okay, baby, it's okay. I'm here, I'm here." Madison collapsed into her arms, crying hard. Then, a slow clapping sound echoed through the boathouse. Rebecca froze. Madison froze. Detective Kane, hiding outside, whispered urgently through the earpiece. "He's inside. He's with you. Stay calm." Rebecca turned. Mark Turner stepped out from the shadows. Smiling. Always smiling. "You came," he said softly. "Good." Rebecca shielded Madison behind her. "Please, just let her go." Mark tilted his head. "I took care of her. Protected her. Watched her. You should thank me." Rebecca felt sick. "You terrorized her." "No," he said gently. "I loved her." Detective Kane's voice whispered, "Keep him talking. Officers are in position." Mark stepped closer. "She talked to me. She trusted me. I was the only one who listened." Rebecca whispered, "You heard her." Mark's smile twitched. "Only because she disobeyed. She wasn't supposed to tell you. She wasn't supposed to fight me." He took another step. "One more. And now," he whispered, "you're going to come with us. Now." Kane shouted. The boathouse exploded with movement. SWAT burst through windows. Officers charged through doors. Mark spun around and bolted toward the back exit. Hayes shouted, "He's running." Chaos erupted, flashlights, shouts, splintering wood. Rebecca held Madison tight as officers covered them. At the back of the boathouse, Mark sprinted toward the riverbank, slipping on mud. He jumped onto the old dock. Crack. The wood broke. He fell hard. Before he could get up, Kane was on him. She tackled him with a force fueled by 4 hours of fury and fear. Hayes and 2 SWAT officers piled on, wrestling him into cuffs. Mark screamed, wild, feral, no longer calm or smiling. "You can't take her. She's mine, she's mine." Kane pressed his face into the dirt. "Not anymore. You're done." The last thing Mark saw before being dragged upright was Rebecca holding Madison in her arms. A family he tried to destroy. A girl he would never touch again. 2 hours later, Madison was in a hospital bed, wrapped in warm blankets, 4 in her arm, mother holding her hand. Detective Kane stood in the doorway, arms crossed, looking exhausted but relieved. "Mark Turner is in custody," she said softly. "And we have enough evidence to put him away for life." Rebecca squeezed Madison's hand tighter. "Thank you. Thank you for saving her." Kane smiled gently. "She saved herself too. That video she recorded? That was brave. It led us right to him." Madison smiled weakly. "I was scared. But I didn't want him to win." Rebecca kissed her forehead. "And he didn't." Kane stepped closer. "There's something else you should know." Rebecca looked up. "What is it?" "We searched his van, his house, his storage shed, everything." Rebecca felt her heart tighten again. "And..." Kane took a deep breath. "He had plans, photos, maps of your house, the school, the park. He had been watching Madison for nearly a year." Madison shivered. "But you're safe now," Kane added quickly. "Completely safe. We'll make sure of it." Madison whispered, "He can't hurt me anymore?" Kane shook her head. "Never again." Rebecca cried softly into her daughter's hair. Kane turned to leave, but then paused at the door. "One more thing," she said. "The camera he used to record the last video, the one where he sent the message?" Rebecca nodded. "He recorded himself too, without realizing it. His face, his voice, his location. That's how we confirmed the boathouse." Rebecca exhaled shakily. "So the title, it's true." Kane nodded. He didn't realize everything was being recorded. By sunrise, Madison was resting peacefully. Rebecca sat awake, watching her daughter breathe, grateful for every inhale, every exhale. Outside the window, the world looked new again. Gentler, safer, brighter. And Mark Turner? He would spend the rest of his life behind bars. This story, this nightmare, had ended. But the lesson would stay with them forever. Sometimes the people who seem harmless, the ones we let inside our homes, the ones we trust without question, are the ones watching us the closest. And sometimes, thank God, they record their own downfall.